Hello, hi everyone. Can people hear me? Can people hear me fine? And welcome everyone for entering this live stream. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, everyone. And I noticed lots of people are in here today. So we just started this live literally just within 1 minute, and there are already 45 people online now, which is amazing. So, like for all the Chinese friends, I hope you guys have had a wonderful long weekend to celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival. And we well, actually on Saturday, the first day of the long weekend, we have discussed about what exactly is the Dragon Boat Festival, right? And lots of foreigners were very curious about it and also shared about why we would want to have Dragon Boat race and what are the Dragon Boat design would be like, a lot of those kind of things. So today is going to be a very interesting session again. Having 2 days of resting, very complete resting, I feel quite refreshed today. Quite refreshed today. The only thing that is not so good about this long weekend is that majority of the time it's just raining in here. Out of all the different weathers, I just hate rainy weathers the most. Guys, please tell me what is the kind of weather you hate most? What's the kind of weather you hate most? Let me know. Yeah, like for me, I really hate rainy days. Whenever there is rainy days, there are just like so many problems with it. Well, first of all, you cannot really go out, right? I am an extrovert person and I just love to go out and I don't like to stay at home for a long time. It's okay. It's pretty okay to stay at home for just 1 day to take a rest, but for the very second day, I just wish to go out. Yeah, humid and hot and heat. I hate heat. I love cold. Me, the other way around. I mean, I love hot. I love hot. So I love summer. Well, but nowadays I love like spring and fall better when the weather is not so hot. Back then when I was little, summer is definitely my favorite season because whenever it's summer, that is a time you can eat ice cream and go out swimming and somehow and also maybe if you stay at home like it's like so hot outside and you can have like very cold air conditioner on back at home, that is also considered to be quite fun. Yeah. So what a beautiful piece of clothing you wear. Oh, thank you, my friend. Yeah. Okay, so today I have something to discuss with you guys. So recently one of the let's do this. Okay. Again, I forgot to show you guys. For those of you new in here who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me, okay? So for those of you who haven't been in our followers group, here is our followers group. Okay, this is our family. For those of you who haven't joined our family, don't forget to join our family, okay? Yeah, so you can actually eat ice cream in the winter. You can. So as a matter of fact, here in well, so the problem here in south part of China is that we do not have like heater during winter. Well, if you want to have heater, you have to buy a heater yourself and then turn that heater on. So there is no like centrally um provided kind of heater. Like for example, the heater in the north part of China is a kind of heater that is like well somehow it's provided by the government. It's not like you have to buy a heater yourself at home. Somehow like the whole city inside in north part of China, they would set up a place kind of just providing heat and every household inside the city in north part of China, then they would have an account set up just like your gas account or your water account, and once you have that account registered, you can just have all the heat provided to your home. Somehow it was like that. However, here in the south of China, south part of China, we do not have that. So that's why when it's winter time, you would notice lots of the people living in the south area, they would still wear like the kind of things they would wear going outside, like wearing extremely heavy clothes. The kind of thing they wear going outside is the same as what they wear inside my home, inside their home. So, like for me back then when I was little, it was basically like that. I was wearing, oh my God, all, the very thick clothes, like I was going outside. And back in home, it was like same. And also back then, in our senior high school, junior high school, primary school, there was no air con at all when I was little. So no matter summertime or wintertime, it was just crazily cold or crazily hot, and you just have to, just you just have to get used to it. And also back then, I remember when I was little, somehow teacher's office has aircon. So one of the things lots of students would do is just pretend they have some questions to ask the teacher. So that's why they would just go to the office and just say, "Teacher, I do not know the answer to this question. Could you explain to me?" The real reason is not because they do not understand this question, they do not understand this part of the textbook. It's only because they want to enjoy just 10 minutes of the air conditioner during the 10 minutes of break. Yeah. So I was pretty shocked when I know that in the north part of China, there's so many purposefully get in trouble. Yeah. So it was pretty surprising for me to know that in north part of China in winter time. Hi, Christy. Yeah, it was pretty shocking for me to know that in the north part of China during winter time, they would actually stay at home, wear like short sleeves and shorts, and even eat ice cream at home during winter time. And that was considered to be quite shocking to me because I was living in the south, right? And somehow in the south area during the winter time, we don't have any domestic, any like in-house heater that you have to purchase. And somehow people living in the south do not have the habit of having a heater, especially for the last generation, for my parents generation. They do not have those kind of habits of that. So that's why like we were very used to the kind of cold weather in winter. That's why I really do not like winter. So that's why like when I got married to my husband and I was able to go to the north part of China during winter time and stay at his home during winter time and notice that how comfortable it is in winter in the north, where basically you could just wear like short sleeves, like wear very little clothes. You're walking around in your home and even eating ice cream. It's basically just like living in spring and living in fall. And sometimes because the heater is so strong, you have to open the window for a little bit to let the cold wind come in to somehow cool down. It's like summer. So I like it. And so that's why like when I returned back to here and Shanghai, I just went back to my parents' home when it was winter. I really, really strongly suggest them to turn on some heater and turn on some aircon. Well, as a matter of fact, nowadays because like people's material life has become a lot better, so you would notice lots of people here in south part of China would also have their like heater, like those kind of heater you would put down beneath the floor or put on the wall. And somehow like my parents home, they have a heater on the wall and somehow they just refuse to turn it on. I was really really do not understand. Like I said, it's so comfortable to have the heater on. Like why don't you just have the heater on? And the kind of thing they say is that they're very used to the kind of cold weather, and as a matter of fact they really like just wearing extremely thick clothes and have the heater not turn on and somehow stay in the very cold weather. I said, don't you feel like it's not comfortable to wear so many bulky clothes inside your home? And they said that, oh yeah, I feel very comfortable. I feel like my body is warm even though the weather is cold. And I said that, don't you feel like you're cold, your hands are so cold? And they say, oh, that's fine. I mean, like we're so used to it. And my mom even scolded me and said that, oh, you're so used to the kind of heater. I mean, that is not a good thing. Your body is no longer used to different climate change. When it's winter time, your body needs to get used to the winter time. When it's summertime, your body needs to get used to the summertime. Then now your body does not have the ability to get used to different kind of climate, different kind of weather temperature. And she's even scolding me that. And I said that, well, if your theory is true, according to your theory, then basically anyone in the north part of China should not just turn the heater on during winter time, right? To just get to used to the kind of weather there, like the kind of climate, the kind of coldness there in winter, right? And the coldness in during winter time in the north part of China can be like minus 10 degrees Celsius during winter time, right? And that is like so cold. And somehow, well, there's nothing I can change, but I'm so glad I'm not living with them, right? If I'm living with them, then like if they decided not to turn the heater on, then I have no choice but to stay and just like that, right? I can just stay in my room and turn my room's heater on. But once I go to a living room, go to their room, go to toilet, go to kitchen, there's no heater on, right? I'm so glad I'm now living with my husband inside our own room. So that's why like we definitely during winter time we turn the heater on because so much more they're comfortable. What do you guys feel? If there are any South friends here and from China here in the live stream room, you guys tell me whether you like to turn the heater on or turn the aircon on, AC on during winter time. Yeah. I seriously do not understand like why. Well, I could understand if you, for the purpose saving money, you just don't want to pay a lot more gas bill, electricity bill during winter time. Well, that's the reason why you do not turn the heater on. I understand. Okay, I seriously do not understand my parents who's not because of the money, but rather because they feel like it's comfortable to stay cold and wear lots of clothes inside home. That's why they do not turn the heater on. I seriously don't understand because I feel like so much more comfortable to stay inside the heater room where the temperature is just the temperature enjoyed during summertime, during springtime and fall time. Seriously don't understand. I guess that is the generation gap. I guess that is definitely the generation gap. Okay. Yeah. I like heat and cool too, depending on the season. Yeah. So for people who like cold weather, potentially, if you check the five elements in your body, potentially have a lot of water. Like for me, I have a lot of fire in my five elements, so that's why I like summer. I do not like winter because I do not have water in my body. Yeah. 早上好. How are you? How were your last couple of days? Hi, Shashi. Good to see you again. I'm pretty good. Have a pretty good rest. Okay, for those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. And for those of you who are new in here, who haven't joined our family, just so you know, we have followers group in here, and don't forget to join the followers group. Yeah. So basically, spend the last 2 days resting very well because the last 3 days was actually a long weekend here in China. It was our Dragon Boat Festival. The original plan was going to some other city. Okay, the original plan was going to some other city, but problem happened again. First of all, there was no ticket for you to travel from Shanghai to that city, and second, well, during the past long weekend it was always rainy. I really hate the fact whenever it's holiday then it becomes rainy, and when it comes back to working day it becomes sunny days. Really hate that. I feel like whenever it's like holidays was a time for you to go outside to really enjoy the sunshine. So I really wish every holiday could have sunshine days. You know, some I do not like rainy days. Yeah, but some people really like rainy days. Just like to stay inside their little shelter, their little room, and somehow listen to the raindrops. Is pretty healing. I don't know. Different people like different kind of things. Yeah. Okay, so there is something I would like to discuss with everyone. Okay, I'm not so sure people have saw it on Red Note. There is a girl who's really come into who was able to come into the spotlight very recently, especially on Red Note, especially on many different kind of social medias in China. So have people noticed there is a girl who was able to make a graduation ceremony speech, was able to make a speech in the graduation ceremony in Harvard University. How many of you guys have seen it? How many of you guys have seen it? Have seen this video? How many of you guys have seen this video? Have seen this girl who made the speech in Harvard and it's in the graduation ceremony? How many of you guys have seen it? Yeah, if you have seen it, type one. Type one, you have seen this girl who made a. You saw today, right? You saw today, Wesley. Yeah, a Chinese girl. Yeah, a Chinese girl, not an American girl. So, like, there's a Chinese girl who made a speech in the graduation ceremony of Harvard University. Okay, that is a Chinese girl. So, one of the reasons why her video went so viral because out of so many years, that was the very first Chinese girl who was able to make a speech, was able to make a speech in the graduation ceremony in Harvard's such a prestigious university like Harvard University, right, in its graduation ceremony. Okay, yeah. I'm not so sure about Harvard's graduation ceremony. I'm not so sure whether there's only one person allowed to make a graduation speech or it's like many. Is she like one of the many students who made a graduation speech, or is she the only one who's picked to make the graduation speech? I'm not so sure. The reaction to it is quite interesting, exactly, Tracy. So that's why I want to discuss about it. Well, so Tracy, first of all, since you raised it, I'm pretty sure you have paid attention to this topic and you probably also have your opinion. It would be great, Tracy, if you could just share your opinion in the comment area, okay? It would just be great if you share your opinion in the comment area, okay? So first of all, I will explain to everyone what's going on here in China, okay? I will explain to everyone what's going on here in China. But before that, for those of you who haven't followed me, you guys need to follow me, okay? For those of you who haven't followed me, definitely follow me in here first, okay? Yeah, so we're gonna discuss about it. Sam, I saw this news yesterday. Okay, I saw this news yesterday. I saw this Chinese girl who, I think her name is called Jessica or something. So I saw this Chinese girl who made this speech in Harvard during its graduation ceremony. Okay. So if those people, if anyone know whether she is the only one selected to be the student representative to make a speech in the graduation ceremony of Harvard, or is she one of those people who are picked to be the one student representative? I'm not so sure if she's the only one or she's one of those student representative. However, no matter the former or the latter, she's the very first one who got the opportunity, got the chance to. Oh, she's one of the few. Oh, okay. Thank you, Alex. Now I know. Okay, yeah. So she's not the only one, right? She's one of the people who are able to make a speech in Harvard's graduation ceremony, right? And also, okay, well, no matter if it's she's the only one or she's like the many one, yeah, her name is something called Jiang. Yeah, her surname is Jiang. Yeah, that is right. QP, you're right about it. Yeah. So for those of you who haven't really watched this video, you guys could definitely take a look at this video, okay? And share with me your opinion in the comment area. I'm very curious to see what's people's opinion here, okay? Yeah, because I myself have my own opinion, okay? Yeah, so first of all, what happened is that because she is the very first one who was selected to be a Chinese, who's the very first Chinese student that was picked to be the student representative to speak in Harvard University's graduation ceremony. So that's why that becomes a big topic here in China. Harvard is considered to be definitely the top university. Well, actually, in China, people consider Harvard to be the best university in the world. Okay, somehow I remember maybe back then, somehow Harvard got always ranked the number one for a long period of time. So that's why, like in Chinese people's heart, Harvard is the best university. Harvard is better than MIT, better than Stanford, better than many different kind of universities. It's definitely considered to be the best university. So the fact that she was able to pick as the student representative to talk and to give a speech in Harvard's graduation ceremony is definitely considered to be a very big thing here in China. So the kind of thing happened is that while people watched the entire video of her making the speech in the graduation ceremony, of course, lots of people praised her, but so many more people actually criticized her. So many people criticized her, and that was something really out of a surprise. The reason why I was able to really see her video is because well actually her video pops up more than once in my red note, okay? So somehow since I started to do live stream here on red note, I actually browse red note quite often. Before that I also do that, okay? 目前在哈佛学习的中国留学生1600啥意思啊？1600是什么意思啊？ and also like for me I was so her video actually pops up multiple times before. I did not really watch it until it pops up too many times and it pops up again, so that's why I watched it. And somehow I'm gonna share it um like the very next, okay? Yeah, so it was like pretty interesting. Okay, so many people were actually criticizing her about her speech, okay? So somehow what happens is that during her speech, she spoke very, very slowly in front of a definitely big crowd for sure, right? So like Little Earth just said that there are 1,600 students who are Chinese currently studying in Harvard University. Not to mention how many people would be out there during the entire Harvard graduation ceremony, right? The orange guy is mad at Harvard. Okay. Yeah. So somehow back then, what happened is that, well, her speech, I actually watched her entire speech. She actually spoke very, very slowly. And also, the kind of content she was basically sharing was about really about like how to have a better world. Like she said, like if we do not have a world where like girls cannot afford to buy pads, like everyone still there are kids starving, something like that. Okay, basically something that is pretty with a pretty 怎么说利益还是比较高的pretty a good intention. I would say, like, basically share that if this world there are still kids who are not living a good life, if there are girls who cannot afford pads, something like that, then this is the kind of world we need to change, and it's up to us to change this world, something like that. Okay, this is basically the kind of content she's talking about, and she talks everything at a very slow speed. So somehow the two most criticisms she got from the social media is, first of all, like her English is pretty shitty. And the second thing is that she the kind of content she's saying is really of nothing. Okay. So the kind of things. So I'm not so sure about people's opinion on that. I'm definitely gonna share my opinion, okay? Little Earth. So for those of you who haven't really watch her video, I really encourage you guys to take a look at her video and come back to share your opinion in the comment area, okay? So first of all, like many people who has been to my live stream who said that I speak quite good English, right? It is not actually by Chinese people, it's actually by American friends who come into the live stream who say that I speak quite a good English, right? So I think I am pretty qualified to judge whether this girl speaks good English or not. So, from my understanding, okay, from my opinion, I consider her English to be quite good. I don't think she speaks not good English. I think she speaks quite good English. So some people say that, oh, her pronunciation is pretty shitty. Oh, you know what? Like even any random student here in China, in the schools here in China could speak quite a good English. That is pretty nonsense. I think she speaks quite good English. Okay. Alda Baron, you're saying yeah, right? So there are American friends here out there who also agree she speaks very good English, right? Or are you just saying like I speak good English? Yeah. Anyhow, like for me, I have heard this like Harvard girl speaking in Harvard's graduation ceremony. The only problem with her speech is this the speed. Okay, the pace of she speaking is too slow. Apart from that, if anyone who's judging that, oh, she speaks quite bad English, or like saying like her English pronunciation is bad, something like that, I consider those people who has those kind of opinions, like those people are the real people who does not speak very good English, who's not able to speak very good English with good accent, because I do consider her English to be quite good. I do not think her English has a very strong accent. Well, definitely her English has some accent, but we have also argued multiple times that we consider it is fine to have some accent when you speak English, right? As long as people could understand you, as long as people have no problems communicating with you, listening to you speaking English, that is literally nothing, right? So, like, her English is definitely not bad, okay? In my opinion, her English is pretty good, pretty decent, like good pronunciation. Okay. So the only problem with her English is that she speaks it too slowly. But guys, I have also shared with you guys before that I have done public speaking before in my university. That I told you guys I have attended the National English Speaking Competition back then here in China in Shanghai, right? And I was the second runner-up in the Shanghai English speaking contest, right? And I want to just share with you guys. I just want to tell you guys, speaking good English and speaking English in front of like so many people. I'm pretty sure there are at least tens of thousands of people here in Harvard's graduation ceremony, right? Here in the graduation ceremony here in my back then in my university, in Shanghai Jiaotong University alone was like over 20,000 people out there, not to mention about Harvard University. There are definitely more people coming to Harvard University's graduation ceremony than to my back then in my university. And speaking in front of 20,000 people, more than like even like 50,000 people, is nothing same as speaking in front of like 10 people, 100 people. And also for someone whose native language is not Chinese, that is not easy. Okay, my friend. That is definitely not easy. So people are saying like, why is she speaking so slowly? Oh, so the fact that she's speaking so slowly is, because her English is bad. That is pretty nonsense. Your eyes movement are pretty good when you're talking. Okay, thank you, Zilo. Yeah, and for those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me, okay? Those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. And here is our followers group. On Red Note, there is a followers group in here. So join our family. This is our family, okay? People are jealous. They seriously, I think there are so many people out there who are just jealous about her the fact that she's able to just talk in front of such a crowd in Harvard University. And so what happened later on is that there are so many people out there who later on just attacked her, and by saying that the reason why she's able to go to Harvard University is not because she's good, it's because her family background, and also the reason why she's able to be picked as one of the student representative, one of the students to be the representative to speak in front of Harvard University students during the graduation ceremony is also because of her family background. Okay, so we have an American friend. Okay, yeah. So Aldebaran is a American, right? You're American. Everyone know you're American, and you say you just listen to her, and there's no problem with her English, right? So it's not certified by me, but also certified by American friend who said there's no problem with her English. So like I feel like I do not know why. Like nowadays, I just feel like there is so much negative. So there are so many negativities out there in the internet that towards someone who's excellent, who's like good, right? I notice like there are so many times I understand, okay, those Americans might be mad at her because she's not American and somehow she's able to speak out there. But here in China, there's so able to speak out there. But here in China, there's so many Chinese people. We would not be mad at her because she's not American, but still able to talk in the graduation ceremony. People are here in China. A lot of people attacked her. A lot of people are mad at her just by saying that, oh, you know what? Her English is so bad, and the content she's sharing is so hollow, so nothing, so nonsense. And also, some people said, oh, the reason why she's able to get into Harvard, and the reason why she's able to speak in front of the so many students, be selected as the student representative, is also because of family background. There's nothing good about her. So like I'm actually just wanted to, well, I guess like the so Louis the Cat, you actually provided another good angle for me to really fight on behalf of her. Even though I do not know her in person, but to be honest, I consider the fact that she's able to stand in front of, like I said, like 20,000 or 50,000, there's definitely a big crowd out there, right? And just talk. That thing is so, yeah, I also think she spoke very well, right? Do you think you consider that too, right? I also think she speak very well. And also for me, because back then, the reason why I was able to resonate so well with her is because, like I said, I have had like English speaking competition. I have attended English speaking competition back then. And also, well, I was thought like her need to speak in front of like 20 or 50,000 people. I only need to speak in front of 500 people. And that was already a big pressure. Okay. That was already a big pressure. And also listen that the crowds back then below me, like speaking under like watching me to speak during the English speaking competition were only people who are in here also to attend this competition, or students in here just wanted to watch other people attend this competition, basically also university students and also the parents and also English teachers of those students. There were no big figures sitting down below. There were no like very famous people sitting down below, and there were not like so many people who are like just so smart and so excellent, right? So the kind of level of pressure is definitely not the same. So for those people, I was pretty, so I told you guys, like I first saw this video. There is a content creator basically attacking her by saying that her English is not good and the content she's sharing is not so good, something like that. And at the very beginning, I believed in this content creator. So that's why I went to her video and to see this girl's like speech during Harvard graduation ceremony. And somehow after watching her video and like her speech in Harvard's graduation ceremony, I seriously just wanted to do half as good as she did. Do half as good as she did. Crystal Lissy said her pronunciation is very clear. Exactly, I think her pronunciation is very clear as well. Okay, I just also want to explain on behalf of her. Okay, so even though I do not know her, but every day since there are lots of people come to the live stream, and this is a great opportunity for me to speak for her. Okay, so I wanted to say the reason why she speaks very slowly. I just want to let you know that is actually a skill. Whenever you speak in front of a public, the kind of problem people usually would have is to speak too fast. And if you look at, well, if you guys, well, so Ivanka, everyone know about Ivanka, right? So she's the daughter of Trumpet, right? And she has made a speech in front of a big crowd, and that speech was considered to be a kind of a role model speech, a very good speech. You guys could have actually take a look at Ivanka, also a female, also a girl, right? Back then, I think 7 years ago, well, wait, 6 years ago or 5 years ago, during her father's last election campaign, she was speaking there, right? And if you look at Ivanka's speech, she actually also spoke really slowly. She also spoke really slowly. And also, if you go back to listen to Barack Obama's speech, you listen to every great man's Martin Luther King speech. I have a dream. Did Martin Luther King all did Martin Luther King, when he spoke in front of a public, did he speak very fast? Did he speak very fast? Did he also speak in a way like, I have a dream? Everyone needs to have a dream. We all have a dream. Did he speak like that? He did not speak like that. He spoke really slowly. He said, I have a dream. Like every great man in the history, okay? Every great man in the history, also Abraham Lincoln, also considered to be a great speaker, right? Also a great speaker. So, like, slowly speaking slowly in public, that is actually a skill. So, back then, when I was in my university, when we were trained to attend English speaking competition, one of the very first lesson we learned is that you need to speak slowly in the public. You need to speak very slowly in the public so that letting people to hear every word you speaking and also making pauses is very important. So you're not speaking to, how many of you guys have encountered it? Like we have all played this one game, which is 传话, right? Which is like if there are 10 people in a row, the first person talks to the second person something, and the second person needs to pass on the words to the third person, and a word passing game. How many of you guys have played that game? Like once words start to pass, like every people's her English is almost native English, right? Angel, you were also saying that, right? Just like, yeah, so like American people are also saying that her English is almost native English. And out here in China, on Chinese social media, there are so many people in here who are basically just saying that her English is so bad. Oh, you know what? I can't imagine that a student who graduated from Harvard speaks so bad English and her English has such a strong accent. Oh, something like that. Her speech was not a Miss Universe made phrase. Her spoke slowly to emphasize. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, well, speaking from a professional perspective, like maybe the pace is a little bit too slow. Okay, she could definitely make the pace a little bit faster. But somehow, overall speaking, I just want to speak for her, which is like if you are speaking in front of a big crowd, okay, a big public, a big crowd, it's definitely better to speak slowly than speak faster. So like lots of people forget about it. Okay, so they just watch this video of her speaking in front of, in front of them over the screen, and somehow saw the video, and okay, somehow she speaks too slow, something like that. And it's so funny, like people judge from the fact that she speaks slow and say that, oh, the reason why she speaks so slow is because her English is so bad. That is like pretty nonsense. Okay, so first of all, in my opinion, I think her English pronunciation has no problem at all. She speaks quite good English, I think, and also I have seen her like interview video. Okay, so there's some interview after she before or after she had made the speech in the graduation ceremony, and somehow like during the interview, like when she's able to speak in her normal speed, it was her English is actually pretty okay. Yeah, pretty decent. How many times do you speak public at Harvard? Enjoy the moment. Exactly, Louis the Cat. Like, where I feel like there are so many people out there just out of like jealousy, just attacking Adam. Like, oh, and also lots of people attacked her and say that okay, the reason why she got this opportunity to be selected as a student representative to speak in the ceremony is because of her family background. Okay, my goodness. Well, so first of all, it is definitely true. Are you talking about the graduation speech? Exactly, the Harvard girl. 我在说这个哈佛大学这个女孩，这个蒋同学，就是她在哈佛大学里边的演讲就被这么多人的攻击哈。我真的就是我不认识她，但是我真的需要帮她说几句话。我真的觉得她做的很棒，我真的觉得她做的很棒。然后很多人说她英文讲的不好，我真的任何一个说她英文讲的不好，说她这个演讲讲的假大空讲的不好的人，你试试。 你去这个演讲去试试。Anyone who said her English is not good, anyone who said that, okay, the kind of content she's actually saying in the graduation ceremony, that's why you got selected to be able to speak in front of like 20 or 50,000 people. And here, like, can you do it? I don't think, like, seriously doubt it. Like, I don't think like a lot of people could do even half as good as she is. Well, even though I consider myself to have a good like public speaking skills, and also I consider myself to speak quite good English, if I were given this opportunity to speak in front of such a big crowd out there in Harvard University, I don't have the 100% confidence that I will be speak as good as she is or speak even better than she is. Well, not to mention so many people out there who are basically just attacking her. And especially for those of people who attacked her by saying her English is not good, I'm pretty sure those people who attacked her, you do not speak good English. Because if you are able to speak good English, then somehow the kind of conclusion you come up with would not be she does not speak good English, but rather she speaks good English. I wonder how many people who criticize her speak as well as she does. Exactly, Louis the Cat. That's exactly the kind of feeling. So the first moment I saw this content creator basically saying that she speaks really bad English or something like that, I was like, oh, really? Okay, I am also pretty curious to see pretty good job, pretty good job. I think she does a really, really good job, right? And somehow maybe you know, people are just so jealous. And I said the reason why she speaks very slowly is first of all, that is a skill set. Okay, that is skill set. I'm pretty sure like she has practiced multiple times in front of so many people, right? And like she definitely have practiced a lot of time, and she has been potentially even being trained, okay, by some like public speaking kind of teacher who shared with me that it's very important to speak slowly, because back then when I was in my university and trying to train for those English speaking competition, I actually we all speak too quickly in casual conversation, exactly with the can. So also like back then when I got trained, the first lesson I remember back then, and there is a professional English speech kind of teacher, an American, okay, shared with us is that you need to learn how to speak slowly in front of a big crowd. And also, like back then, I also did one thing, which is just listen to every great speech. Okay. Those kind of speech made by all the great men in history, whether it's Martin Luther King, we all know I have a dream, right? Everyone know about this speech, right? I have a dream, right? You listen to him. He spoke really slowly. And also, like, and you many Chinese criticize her, but do the Western also criticize her? So Louis the Cat just shared with us like also lots of Westerners criticize her. A lot of Americans criticize her, but basically criticize her the fact that she's not American, but she's able to speak in front of the crowd. So I think that that's a major kind of criticism she got. But that is like in Chinese we call it 无可厚非，对不对？确实有一帮很傻逼的美国人就会这样子。但是我是觉得中国人也这么批评她，真的我觉得是太不对了，太不对了。我真的需要为这个女孩发发声。我不认识她。Okay, disclaimer: I do not know this girl, but I know that it's not easy. Okay. So I just want to share with you guys, like back then in my company, okay, I told you guys I work in an American company, right? One of the most prestigious investment bank on Wall Street, okay? And somehow I remember back then when we had this Asia CEO, okay, when she spoke in front of a big crowd, when our global CEO came to Asia and had a town hall, like she was also not able to speak as good as she is. And she's already the CEO here. And also she's able to speak very good English, definitely no problem speaking English, but somehow when people speak in front of a big crowd, especially speaking in front of people who are considered to be very important, right? You're speaking with all the principals or the most famous entrepreneurs in town, and you're speaking in front of so many people. It's so hard for you not to be nervous, right? And the reason why she speaks so slowly maybe is also because she's nervous. But I mean, like, there's nothing wrong about that, right? She is not a president. She is not a political figure. She probably do not have lots of experience of speaking in front of big crowd, in front of public. Like, why are people so jealous of her, and why people criticize her so much? There is a chance, right? There are some people who do not have good public speaking skills, but somehow they are good at something else, right? I think that so Little Earth just shared with me, like out there right now in Harvard, there are 1,600, okay? 1,600 Chinese students out there studying. Out of 1,600 students, why is she picked to be the one. And some people said that, oh, maybe she comes from a pretty good family. Okay, guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Okay. For those of you who are new in here who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. And for those of you who haven't joined our followers group, don't forget to follow it. Don't forget to join this follow group. Okay. So I definitely need to have more followers in here. And just so you guys know, this is a very interesting live stream. I usually would have live stream from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time, from Monday to Saturday. Okay, Monday to Saturday. And there are so many foreigners from literally everyone around the globe inside this live stream room. And every day we will be sharing different interesting topics. And today, the topic we're sharing about is about this Harvard Chinese girl who are able to speak in front of a large crowd in the Harvard graduation ceremony. Okay. So that is why, like, for those of you who are new in here who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. Okay. And also for those of you who are new in here and who just followed recently, we have this tradition, which is to keep on tapping the screen to sending likes. Okay. So people just keep on tapping the screen to sending likes. If you haven't done it, just tap the screen to sending likes. Okay. Just tapping the screen to sending likes. And also, I would like to continue to share. Okay. So some people also say that, oh, okay, yeah, the reason why she's able to get into Harvard, and the reason why she's able to be picked as a student representative is because she comes from a very rich family. So first of all, I admit there is a chance that she comes from a affluent family to be able to study in Harvard. Because right now we have also discussed about it before multiple times about the very expensive tuition right now in Harvard and those Ivy League school, right? For like ordinary families, there's no way you could send your kids to study in such prestigious school to somehow to pay this expensive like tuition fee. So there is a very high likelihood that she comes from a pretty good, decent, wealthy, affluent family that's able to afford her to study in the U.S. and afford her to study there, pay such an expensive tuition fee. Okay. So we have shared before. So nowadays in those Ivy League school, for 1 year's tuition fee can be as high as 80,000 US dollars. The tuition fee alone. Okay, so 80,000 US dollars is only for the local students. For the international students, the tuition fee can be even higher. So I do not deny the fact that she might come from a very wealthy family. However, coming from a wealthy family does not guarantee the opportunity to speak in Harvard's graduation ceremony. There is not a lot of chance that, simply, well, every year so many students graduated from Harvard University, and how many people were able to be picked out there to speak in Harvard University? And not to mention, she's the very first Chinese student who were able to speak there. And for those of you who say that she must come from a rich family, you guys have no idea how many rich people out there who are currently studying in Harvard. I also want to say, like, it is also true. Okay, it is also true. I also agree with those people who argue that, oh, okay, somehow those like rich kids could get into Harvard University. It is also true, like for those big Ivy League school, if your parents are so rich, if your parents could donate to those Ivy League school 2 million US dollars, like there is pretty much like okay for your kids to go to the school. Okay, go to join this Ivy League school. If you donate for more than 2 million, well, if you donate 5 million to the school, pretty sure 100% the kids could go to the university. However, you would have no idea how many in this era, even Confucius makes speech, he has to be judged. Exactly, no talk. That actually makes a really strong, a very punchy point. Okay, no talk 说，在这个时代，就算是孔夫子发表一遍演讲，可能都会被人骂。Yeah. So it is true, like back to my topic, I would say like it's true that if you come from a rich family, if you're able to, you know, donate a large sum of money to those Ivy League school, then your kids just can get into the university. That is true, okay, my friend. That is definitely true. However, there are so many rich people out there. You have no idea how many rich people out there in those university. You have no idea, okay? So I know quite many rich people, or at least like I know people who also know like rich people, okay? So somehow you would have no idea like how rich those kids studying in Harvard can be. And if you're talking about like only the rich can be able to speak in front of Harvard University, then this person, this Jiang Tongxue, this girl must come from like one of the most wealthiest family. She must be the daughter of Jack Ma or Wang Jianling or whatever, okay, in order to speak out there. 在这个哈佛大学这种常春藤名校里边的王公贵族啊，可太多了。Let's not only talk about Harvard University, you only talk about all those senior high school here in Hong Kong. You look at them. 你去看一下香港的这些名校高中啊，rich is really nothing, okay? By being rich does not guarantee you a spot to be able to go into those best prestigious senior high school there in Hong Kong, not to mention about Harvard University. OK，不是有钱就能进的。你特别有钱，你能够一年给他捐个200-300万、400-500万美金，甚至1000万美金，确实你小孩是能进去。但是有多少人是有这个实力的？有多少人能有这个实力啊？Okay, even if you are able to be rich enough just by using money to send your kids to join those best Ivy League school, how about to be selected to be able to talk in front of so many people? So many people out there in the Harvard's graduation ceremony. That is not easy, okay? That is not easy at all. That is not easy at all. 这个不是一个很简单的事情，真的。我觉得 okay, let's also think from that perspective. Your family, if your parents is very rich and also pretty powerful, but if you are the parent and you know that your kids are not able to handle the graduate ceremony like that, would you also send your kids to go there and to make the speech? Would you do that? If you're a parent yourself, okay, let's imagine this. You're a parent, okay? And you are like so rich. You're Bill Gates, okay? You're so rich. And somehow you have this kind of ability to just by using money, by using your network, or by using your power to help get your kid a chance to speak in front of the crowd in the Harvard graduation ceremony. Somehow you also know that your kid does not have the ability to make good public speaking, and somehow your kid is not able to handle a speech like that. Would you send your kid to go there and to make the speech? Guys, answer me in this comment area, okay? Would you do that? No matter what age are you, whether you have kids or not, whether you're a girl or you're a boy, you're a man, woman, whatever, no matter what age, okay, just consider it. And also, oh, okay, if you are young, I know there are young people here as well. If you are young, okay, if you are given by your parents this opportunity, if you do not consider yourself to have this capability to do that, will you dare to go there and just stand on the stage and speak in front of so many people to make a speech? Will you do that? Will you do that? Let's say, okay, you were given this opportunity, okay? If you yourself, okay, you're young, if you were given this opportunity, or like you're like relatively older, like if you have kids and somehow you're able to have all the money, all the network, everything to give your kid this opportunity to speak in front of Harvard graduation crowd, would you do that? Would you do that? I'm pretty sure like lots of people, like young people, would not dare to do it. First of all, for older people, if they consider their kids not capable of do that, not able to handle that, they would also not do that, right? So everything is on the condition. Everything is on the condition that this girl must be very excellent. This girl must be very intelligent. 如果这个女孩本质上并不是一个很强的一个人的话，她就算是家里边再有钱，她爸妈有这个能力啊什么，她爸妈也不会让她去干这件事情。Because if she's not able to do it well, if she does not have the ability to handle a public speech like that, the fact that her parents sent her to speak in front of the crowd is as she would. According to the Chinese tradition, that is considered to a pretty face losing kind of thing. Right？如果这个孩子是根本就站不上台的，这孩子根本就拿不出手的，你家里边再有钱，你会让这个孩子去丢人现眼、出洋相吗？你不会。Of course not, right? If she speaks not well, it may influence share prices. Exactly, no dog, right? Exactly. That is a pretty funny way of you saying that, right? Yeah, so she must be very well, in my opinion. I think like maybe in some every year there's so many students graduated from Harvard, right? And all of students, well, let's not talk about those extremely rich who were sent to Harvard University because of their parents' money. Okay, let's talk about the rest of the crowd. Okay, so for all the people who are able to get into Harvard University, they are literally at least not dumb, not stupid kind of students, right? They must be quite smart to get into Harvard. If you guys have seen this interview by Mark Zuckerberg and also by his wife, right? We also know Mark Zuckerberg's wife is pretty a woman's role model as well, right? And she somehow like she's also like study extremely hard. She's very intelligent and she's able to get into Harvard University. And if you guys have watched her interview, she actually shared in her interview and she said she got lots of pressure. The moment she got into Harvard University, she realized that there are so many smart people out there, and she feel like she cannot handle the pressure, the peer pressure, because they were like technically there were actually so many smart people out there. So like I have to say, like for people who are able to study in Harvard, this is like no jokes. Okay, there's no joke. It is definitely tough. It is definitely tough. There are so many excellent students, and whoever was able to be selected to be the student representative to talk in the graduation ceremony, that's also no joke, right? Everyone knows like this person, right? Everyone nowadays, we are living in a social media like era, like everyone can Google this person. 任何一个上台的人都会被人肉，所有人都可以去 everyone can challenge whether this person is qualified to talk on the stage. Everyone can do that, right? So like if this girl is not excellent, is not intelligent in certain aspect, there's no way she can be given this opportunity to speak in front of so many crowd in the Harvard graduation ceremony. 进名校要推荐信，还要做超级多社区义工，要全面都很优秀，确实没错。但我们现在都不是在说他能不能进去，我们现在在说的是，每年要进哈佛大学本身就是很难的一件事情，更别说每年在众多的毕业生当中，他能被选出来去当这个演讲者，这个我绝对不觉得是走后门就能够走得通的。I seriously don't think that is something that just by using your network, just by leveraging your family's background, you can get this opportunity. Okay? She must have something about her that is unique, that is excellent first. And also maybe combined with something else that then she's able to be able to speak, get this opportunity to speak in front of the crowd. 还有做演讲者付出了非常多努力。是的，他肯定是他自己这个人本身肯定也是有一些可圈可点之处的，他一定也是很厉害的。So，充分配必要条件，exactly，王太太，你看来以前大学的时候逻辑学学的非常的好，充分配必要条件这个词已经很久没有看到了。Yeah, so I was pretty shocked to see like so many people out there who were basically attacking her by saying that, you know what, she's not doing a great job by doing that. Well, of course I can tell, everyone can tell like she's like very nervous, right? And she's very nervous and somehow like she's talking with her voice trembling, right? Pressure to talk to people, talk to strangers. Like also I've been previously professionally trained to talk in front of like a crowd. So if I were given this opportunity to speak in front of a large crowd like that and speaking in front of so many big figures out there, and also I am like only in my 24th, 25th, 26th, I seriously think I guarantee you, 100% guarantee you that I will be nervous. Like even for now, like even the now me, okay? Even though the now me, like I am definitely a lot more mature than back then when I was 24, 25, when I was at her age. And also like I also consider myself someone who has seen like so many big occasions. Like I have like definitely better public speaking abilities. And also I have read so many more books, and also I like my mind is so much deeper. Still, if I were given this opportunity to speak like that, 100%, 120%, 300%, I would be nervous. And there's a high likelihood that I would also speak with a trembling voice. And one way, if you are feeling really nervous, when you really cannot help with this, like the kind of feeling nervous, the kind of thing you could do is what? Is to speak slowly. If you're nervous at the same time you speak very fast, for sure you will make mistake, and there's a likelihood that you even forget what you will talk. You know? So you guys have no idea, like many people have no idea, like when you're speaking on the stage and talking in front of a public, how nervous you can be. I have experienced that, so the how I was able to handle that, to make sure that, and sometimes when you are so nervous, your brain will just went blank. Your brain just will go blank. Nothing wrong with being nervous as human, exactly. So it is true that, like, I'm not so sure if you guys have experienced that, but I have experienced that when I was in my senior high school. Somehow, like, I was so nervous. I need to make a, like, a presentation, a report in front of a bunch of teachers, right? And somehow, like, it was so nervous. Somehow, like, my brain just went completely blank. And I was basically sitting there and not knowing anything to say. And I just said, teacher, that I'm sorry, teachers. I feel so nervous. Like, my brain just went blank. There's nothing that can comes up out of my mind. Can I actually take a rest and come back? I said that. Like, I have experienced that when you're so nervous. The first lecture I ever gave to a first year uni class of 300 kids was terrifying. Exactly, Louis the Cat. You also experienced that. It was like, and it's only 300 people, right? It's not like a Harvard graduation ceremony where you have to speak in front of so many people. That is actually pretty hard. And also, like, back then when I was training for my English competition, the kind of thing is I recite the speech so well, up to a point that I do not use my brain. I know what's the sentence next to that sentence. I did it in a way that I can do something like, okay, this is today is Saturday and tomorrow is blah, blah, blah. I can do it like that. I do not use my brain, and I am able to recite it. Something like that. So that I use that to make sure that no matter how nervous I will be in during the English competition, like, my brain will not go blank. My brain will not go blank. So you guys have, like, I mean, not you guys, I mean, you guys, many of you guys know it, right? But I mean, like, so many people do not know. Okay, so many people out there do not know, like, how nervous people can be when they are put in front of, like, so many people and they must make a speech. Like, you can be so nervous, and the fact that she's able to speak, still stick to her speech, right? She prepared the speech, able to start with. So I can tell, okay, so also judging from professional perspective, like, her speech is pretty well curated. So starting from a story, okay, so you can see lots of skills that she used when writing this speech. I'm pretty sure lots of people helped her to rewrite her speech. Exactly, she held it together, right? Yeah, what do people go, right? Yeah. So, like, okay, so back then I also remember, when I was training for the speech, there's a lot of skills. As I said, the first skill is that you need to speak very slowly, especially when you're speaking in front of a big crowd. If you look at, like I said, if you look at all those great men who made speech in the history, right? All the greatest speeches in the history, none of them were spoken very fast. All of them were spoken very slowly, okay, especially in a very big crowd. So that's definitely the first thing she was told to do. And the second thing is, when she wrote the speech, it was also a skill set that at the beginning, tell a story. Tell a story. So that's why she said the story, right? So she said the story, like, oh, she's right now working in Mongolia. She's actually volunteering in Mongolia, interning in or actually interning in Mongolia. And also, like, she has two other uni friends who are from other countries and also working in some other countries. And somehow they have this kind of washing machine that was made in China, so the instruction were in Chinese. And so the two friends actually called her, and somehow, like that, she started with a story. So that's also a pretty good skill. Okay. Some netizens complain her pauses, but the pauses are needed to emphasize exactly. Public speaking is all about pause. You look at all the election campaign, you see all those presidents when they are talking, they make lots of pauses. You make the pause to catch people's attention. If you just talk without no pause, people don't pay attention. It's just like, it's human beings, okay? It's human beings. It's the brain structure, okay? It's basically human beings' brain structure. If you listen to someone just keep on talking, how many of you guys have experienced it? 好痛，好多都听不懂，加油听，多听听就能听懂了。OK，鸟鸟信教徒，鸟鸟信教徒那个鸟鸟教信徒，不是鸟鸟信教徒，鸟鸟教信徒，是鸟鸟教信徒对吧？鸟鸟教信徒， 《娘娘教信徒》是那个现在就是在那个网上有个非常火的中国女孩，有一个中国女孩蒋同学，她在哈佛大学的毕业典礼上发表了演讲，她是应该是历史上第一个中国人在这个哈佛大学里边发表了毕业演讲，然后她因为这个毕业演讲广受诟病，在中国也被人骂得很惨，在外网肯定说是也被人骂的嘛。那美国人骂他很多是因为他不是个美国人，但他在哈佛大学上发表演讲，所以他被骂。但是中国有好多人都骂他，骂他说他英文讲的不好，说他演讲也讲的不好，说他内容讲的很空洞，就是各种攻击。所以我在此我要为他发声，因为我觉得他很不容易。Yeah, yeah, I would say like, yeah. 什么口语一塌糊涂？米斯特胡，我真的，我刚才就在说了，他的口语非常的好，就是他的英文讲的很好啊。但是你有可能是在帮助我跟大家来去解释这个故事哈。但是我真的，我作为一个英文口语还不错的人，我要为他发声。I think her English is good. Okay, yeah, her English is definitely good. Yeah, and also I was basically going back to let's look at her the speech structure. Okay, let's look at the speech structure. So by listening to that speech, I'm pretty sure that she actually worked extremely hard on this speech. It was not a randomly written speech. Okay, so she started from a story. Okay, that's also a big skill. Back then, when I was in my university training for the competition, it was definitely good to start it with a story, and the story was able to catch people's attention, a story that was able to somehow makes people remember you. Okay, if you look at Steve Jobs back then, also Steve Jobs made a speech in Columbia University, I think, or in which university I forgot, MIT or Columbia, I forgot. Okay, so Steve Jobs also did a graduation ceremony speech, right? And somehow Steve Jobs also used the very same skill, which is by starting with the story. If you look at all the many great people who talked very famous kind of speech, okay, nowadays, okay, especially nowadays, Taylor Swift also made a speech in Columbia University's graduation ceremony, right? And also somehow some other like Ivanka did this speech for his father's election campaign, right? They all started from a story. She's the beginning, deserving more encouragement. Exactly，袅袅教信徒，Yeah。我也觉得她很棒，很优秀。但是中国人这么嘲讽，感觉第一丑妇，第二厌女。是的，小白小花，我觉得你说的太对了。真的，我觉得为什么会要有这么多的攻击呢？不应该，不应该。Yeah, so I was actually deciphering her like entire speech. Okay, so the first thing she did is like she started with a story. Okay, she started with story. So this is definitely a very carefully selected story, because when you wanted to start a story, you do not just speak a random story. First of all, you need to use a story that is about yourself, okay, and also writes a story that makes people that can feel like really resonated, something, a story that has a meaning, and something that a story that can relate to what you're going to talk about in the following context. Okay, so the kind of story she said is pretty very interesting at the very beginning. Well, that story was definitely something I really remember, right? And so later on, like the kind of thing she later shared is like really call for action. Like what she did later on is call for action. She was basically just saying that we are still not living in a world that is perfect enough, right? Given Oscar awards, and also all those like singers who were given Grammy awards, they were also given like 1 minute or two to make a speech, right? To make a thank you speech after they were given those awards. Well, if you look at what kind of things they talk about, they also talk about things like, for example, females would usually talk about, okay, you know, I well, I would never imagine I'm able to get this. Or usually the sentence structure would be like the speech structure would be like that. For example, I remember Michelle Yeoh, right? Yang Zichong back then when she got Oscar awards, she was also the very first Chinese Asian female who got this like best actress award, right? She said like okay when she also started the very same right when she first started. She started with a story, right? A story about herself when she first came out to be an actress and came to Hollywood. Lots of people challenged her, right? Lots of people said like you're an Asian and you're considered a minority, and there's no chance for you to be a mainstream kind of actress, something like that. So a story about herself that got challenged a lot. Somehow she believed in herself. She believed this world will finally give her a chance if she actually just be perseverant, something like that. Yeah, if she stick to her dream, right? And then somehow later on, what she said later on is that okay, you know, she actually calls for gender equity. She calls for like no racism. She calls for those kind of things, like basically very same as what this girl did, right? What this girl did back then in the graduation ceremony, right? She called for what? She called for this world to be better world, like basically like that, right? So if you look at her speech context, okay, her speech structure, the speech structure she had is like the very same as many other celebrities. Like starts from a story, a personal story that people feels like really interesting to hear and also like related, like something like they feel like they can resonate with, and then they start with the next thing, which is call for action. Okay, using the personal story, and then second, using that story as a hook, and then later on, just call for action. Just tell people what's the problem going on and out there, right? There are still something not perfect about this world, so that's why we need to strive harder. There are a lot of things for us to work harder, and like something we need to do in order to make this world a better place. There's nothing wrong about this speech, right? Okay, if you are saying that, okay, I think her speech literally just said nothing. What else do you expect her to say within just 2 minutes or 3 minutes? To share a secret about how she's able to get into Harvard, to share a secret of how to build a missile. What do you expect her to say in the 2 3 minutes time? I don't know. Like I seriously don't understand like why there are so many negativities on the internet attacking her. Like I think she did amazing job, amazing job. No matter it's about like her English, the pronunciation. Like people are again like for those people who are attacking her pronunciation, I'm pretty sure those people do not speak very good English themselves. Like her pronunciation has no problem at all. No problem at all. You cannot expect a Chinese girl whose English, whose mother tongue is not English, to be able to speak English with no accent at all. But an accent level like hers is pretty, very tolerable, very tolerable. Like I'm pretty sure like nobody would actually have any problem understanding the English she talks about. Like she only has like small accent, and that is like more than enough. More than enough. Definitely more than enough. Want to hear London accent? A dreamer, a doer. Since you're a dreamer, a doer, I'm pretty sure you can learn London accent and one day be able to talk in very good London accent as well. Yeah. Yeah, nothing wrong with an accent. 是在说哈佛演讲吗？没错，是在说哈佛演讲。我在非常愤慨的说，网上为什么要有这么多人要攻击他，说他英文讲的不好，说他这个演讲的内容讲的很假大空。因为我在讲的是，我刚刚讲《近代花开》，我可以再讲一遍哈。我觉得他的英文没有任何的问题。如果大家本身英文就是讲的很好的人，大家都知道他的英文是没有问题的。然后说他内容假大空，刚才我也把他的整个演讲稿分析了一遍，他的内容也没有任何的问题。你也觉得对不对？《近代花开》English is her second language, and she's speaking at Harvard is amazing. Exactly. When I was at my uni, there were lots of Asian students all spoke beautifully. Exactly. So I mean, like to be honest, like I seriously think like lots of people who attack her saying that she does not speak good English are the real people who do not speak good English. If you're able to understand English, you're able to speak good English, then for sure that you would know that she speaks good English. 他讲了些什么都在说Joe Cracker，你其实可以去看一下他的这个他的整篇的这个完整的演讲录，OK，可以去看他的完整演讲录。那我在这边我也可以跟你这个大致的讲一下。So Joe Cracker was basically asking me what she said during her speech, okay? So was saying that she basically heard the structure of her speech was actually pretty okay. It was not like anything unusual, anything. Well, to be honest, like it was the kind of structure, the usual structure. I think she played it safe, okay? She played it safe。现在已经不流行评论人家口音，注重内容，对。但是网上是既骂他的口音，又骂他的内容。但是我觉得他内容也没有什么问题，真的，我真的觉得他内容没有什么问题。Just if you look at her, the how she the content of her speech, okay? If you look at the content of her speech, well, from my opinion, I do not think there is anything wrong with her content。超级战队有人开始反驳了哈，没有问题哈，我觉得是这样的，超级战队你不要这么说，你不要说是不是你看是有问题，是不是太肤浅了？就是超级战队，你没有问题，你可以有你的 opinion，你可以有你的观点，但是 我觉得你可以把你的观点陈述出来，罗列出来。我们来看一下你的观点里边是不是有可圈可点之处。如果说你的观点里面有一些的东西是我认可的，我会认同，但是你不能够只说我觉得你太肤浅，你怎么样？这是一个怎么讲呢？这是一个非常 judgmental 的一个观点。我觉得你可以，我非常欢迎你。I really encourage people who have a different opinions to share in the comment area about what you think about this. Okay, if you disagree with me, that is fine. Okay, I think that we can have lots of different opinions. If you disagree with me, you think her speech sucks, or okay, you think like she's terrible. Like it's okay. You can also deliver your opinion, but just give me your elaboration of your opinion. Okay, why do you think so? Why do you think so? And we can have definitely have a debate over in here, right? That is perfectly fine, right? 我觉得内容也没问题。我是做 Toastmaster Club，他演讲的时候我也被感动了。小白小花，对，就是你们 Toastmasters，我知道他Toastmaster 本身也是一个演讲的俱乐部，对不对？是的，听他内容有问题的人好好听过吗？有演讲训练过吗？是的，你有做过演讲训练？因为我以前是做过演讲训练的。I was actually professionally trained. I know it's actually so. Actually, in her speech, she actually used lots of skills. Well, I would only say the only thing, okay, the only thing with her speech is never about the pronunciation, the English, never about the content. The only thing wrong about her English speech, the only thing that she can potentially improve on the speech is that she speaks it too slowly. If she raised the speed to a little bit faster, then there's nothing wrong about speech at all. I think the criticism about her, like most of the directions are wrong. I think it's not the speech, but the other underlying issues netizens are bringing up. Like what? Like what? What are the other underlying issues? Curious to know more. Yeah, share with me more. Okay. Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Well, actually, I don't know. 我觉得现在的互联网的戾气很重哈。Well, I have actually seen like so many people just always criticizing others, right? Also, like for me, like when I started this live stream, I say that I also have encountered so many people just come in for the purpose of attacking me. They just attack me, right? 上台选修过英语演讲，期末考试就是英语演讲，一个稿子练了十几遍，上台好紧张。注意，是不是？你上台演讲，你在期末考试的上台演讲，还仅仅只是在全班同学面前演讲，还不是说在什么几万人的这种大的这种场合下，台下还坐的是哈佛大学的校长、哈佛大学的各种院士，对吧？还有各种校友、成功企业家，还有一些可能比你更优秀的同学坐在下面这样去演讲。只是在一个大学的毕业选修课，在全班同学面前演讲，都已经很紧张了。Slowing down help her ease the anxiety. Yeah, why attack? Why attack you? I don't understand. Yeah, so even for me, lots of people attack me, right? So I don't know. Like nowadays, like lots of people just really enjoy attacking others. Like somehow, like by attacking others, like maybe it's because out of jealousy, just simply because they're jealous about others. Jealous 每周开例会都有点紧张，对啊，是啊，袅袅教信徒，对不对？每周你就是在一个很小的一个人面前去讲话，你可能都会觉得很叫什么来着，很紧张。I agree with you. I'm trying to understand why. Yeah. So somehow like you just lots of people just like to attack others. Like lots of people, well, also it's also pretty interesting. Like lots of people do not really think. They just take whatever they are told, right? Whatever they are told, then just believe in it. They don't process it using their brain. Lots of people don't process the kind of things they say using their brain, and somehow like they just start to attack. Okay. So and also like I mean like people say like 啊、这个演讲我听不下去了，怎么样怎么样？我觉得听不下去的最主要原因，OK，我觉得就是因为他讲话讲的太慢了。他的这个篇演讲，我觉得没有什么太大的问题，唯一的问题在我看来就是讲的太慢。但是我认为这也情有可原。你一个二十岁出头的一个大学生，对吧？一个大学生，然后在哈佛大学这么多厉害的人面前去几万人的场合去演讲，我都没有经历过这种。难免会紧张，你一紧张，你就会讲放慢速度，慢慢的去讲，是不是？这总好过你讲的很快，然后打嗝，然后当中讲不下去了，脑子一片放空了要好吧？这完全是情有可原的一件事情，right？ in front of university president, professors, and scholars. Exactly, Crystal of the Sea. Like, how many of you guys, okay, tell me in the comments, how many of you guys have actually had it before? Like, you are able to speak in front of, let's not about talking about those like famous figures. Okay, how many of you guys have actually spoke in front of, like, let's say 10,000 people? Type 1 if you have done it, type 2 if you haven't done it. Okay, like I would type 2. Okay, 有谁在万人大会上有演讲过？有谁能够在超过1万人的场合下去演讲？ How many of you guys? Okay, tell me if you have. Okay, if you have spoke in front of like 10,000 people. Let's not even not talk spoke in front of 10,000 people. Spoke in front of 10,000 people. Okay, what is 1.5? Chase, tell me what is 1.5. How many of you guys have spoken in front of 10,000 people? How many of you guys have done it? Type 1 if you have done it, and type 2. Yeah, and James said 2 only, about 1,500, and I was terrified, right? Yeah, how many people have typed 2, okay, in front of 10,000 people? Oh, sorry. How many people have you actually talked in front of 10,000 people? Type 1 if you have done it, type 2. I'm waiting for anyone to type 1. So far, I haven't seen anyone type 1. Everyone is typing 2, okay? I would die. I'm a hardcore introvert. Max was 2,000. Well, 2,000 is amazing already. 1.5 is 5,000 people. That doesn't count, okay? How many of you have actually, well, actually, if anyone, I seriously doubt anyone would be given an opportunity to speak in front of 10,000 people, okay? Type 1 if you have done it. Type 2 if you haven't done it, okay? Type 2 if you haven't done it. Type 2 if you haven't talked in front of 10,000 people. Type 1 if you have done. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting to see if there's anyone who have actually talked in front of 10,000 people. Is there anyone who have talked in front of 10,000 people? If you have talked 10,000 people in front of 10,000 people, type 1. So Adam, you're saying that you have talked in front of 10,000 people. Could you also please let me know? People. Okay? So first of all, that is not an opportunity you can easily get. That is definitely not an opportunity that easily obtained. You don't get an opportunity like that so easily, first of all. And second, even people are given this opportunity, I seriously doubt, like, who will not be nervous when they are put on the stage to talk? Who will not be nervous? Like, I seriously doubt will there be anyone who will not be nervous? Even if you ask those celebrities, like, who has been, who has been performing on stage for like multiple times. For example, you ask Rihanna, who has done so many concerts. You ask Beyonce, like, if she will she be still be nervous if she's on Super Bowl? I'm pretty sure she will still. Like, even for Beyonce, right? She has done so many concerts before. When she's put on the stage of Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure she would also be nervous, right? So it's just a human beings, like, it's your human being's nature to be nervous in front of a crowd, especially when there are like over 20,000 people out there, right? Do you have 10,000 followers here in this live stream? Chase. So, well, actually, right now, the average people online is 150 people. So I don't feel nervous to talk in front of 150 people. So that's the reason behind that, is because I've been doing it for a long time. And also, I don't see the 150 people, only see you guys in the common area. And I, so basically, I'm just seeing myself talking in front of the screen, right? And that is nothing same as like when I really see 150 people here, right? I see every one of you guys in front of me. The kind of feeling might be like really different. I really like how confident you are. The kind of vibes I deliver to people is that I'm pretty confident, right? Yeah. They tell of techniques they use before going on stage to control nerves. Yes, there are techniques. However, there are techniques to help you to control the nerves, but sometimes it does not work. 我看过白男主持把 CEO 名字一念错一紧张叫错了，大家笑一笑就完了。要是亚女估计被骂死。哎，我觉得真的是，大家真的要友好一点。我觉得这女生真的挺不容易的，而且我觉得这女生肯定本身是一个很优秀的人，是一个很优秀的女孩。哪有什么哈佛大学毕业典礼上面随随便便拉一个人上去讲的？有多少人挤破脑袋想要去啊？是不是？It was definitely not easy to be talking, like to be selected as a student representative. How many people would be dying for this opportunity, right? I would be dying for this opportunity to talk in front of the many crowds and speak as the student representative. I'd be dying for that, right? I would be dying, definitely dying for that. 我记得我以前在我们那个我大学的时候，我们当时不是有军训嘛，有军训。Yeah, so like back then, I remember in my universities. Okay, guys, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. Okay, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. For those of you who haven't followed me, definitely follow me. Okay, we need more followers in here, and also just so you know, for those of you who haven't joined our chat group, our followers group here is a followers group in here. Okay, here's our followers group here. Don't forget to join it. Okay. So follow me if you haven't done it. There are over 140 people online right now, and if you haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. Okay. So I remember back then in my university years, right? So just for our foreign friends who do not know, back then, here in China, most of the well, actually, if not all the Chinese universities, have this thing called 军训. So basically, 要练练八段锦了，感觉这中气不足，2天没练，感觉有点中气不足，要练一练，提提气。我觉得八段锦还是很有用的，八段锦还是很有用的，打完之后人舒适很多。Yeah. So in China, in our most of our university here in China, we have this thing called 军训. I don't even know how to say 军训 in English. Do we have any Chinese friends in here who can actually tell me how to say 军训 in English? So basically, every student will have put on the kind of clothes that's very that is like soldiers' clothes. 迷彩服. Let's see how to say 迷彩服 in English. Okay, learning new English words every single day. 迷彩服 how to say 迷彩服? 我来看一下。迷彩服，how to say 迷彩服？哎，为什么我这梯子没开呢？梯子是 OK 的，为什么用不了呢？how to say 迷彩服啊？哦，对，我想起来，我可以看 DeepSeek。Does anyone knows how to say 迷彩服 and how to say 军训？我们来看一下英文怎么翻译哈。I seriously do not know. Chemo, camel. How to say it? Yeah，我来看一下。军训英文怎么讲？军训英文怎么讲？加音标。Yeah, let's see, OK。然后再是迷彩服，camouflage。OK, military training. OK，没想到这么简单。It's actually that easy. OK, so in the university here in China, that all the students will have to have military training. Okay, everyone needs to have a military training. So basically, what happens is that at the end of your freshman year, so when you're coming to the second sophomore year, so before the sophomore year, so you will have to, compared to other grades, you just have to go to school early because the sophomore year students before their sophomore year, everyone would just gather together to have this, or it's actually after the sophomore year. I forgot, but somehow like some students will have to have this kind of training, yeah, and everyone will have to wear 迷彩服, just say 迷彩服, camouflage, right? Camouflage, right? Yeah, camouflage. Yeah, 好，对的，英文讲的是对的。Yeah, everyone will have to wear like camouflage and like do all the training. Everyone have to stand, like turn left, turn right. Yeah, something like that, right? And lots of those kind of training. Okay, you guys see. So that's a very typical Chinese thing. And we will do something which is like before and well actually before this training starts or at the end of the training, so they would also select the student representative to speak in front of everyone. One that is called basic training, exactly Louis the Cat. So that is called 动员大会. How to say 动员大会?动员大会. Yeah, let's see how to say 动员大会. 那应该是在开场的时候，开始的时候。Something called like mobilizing meeting, pop rally, mobilization meeting, pop rally. Yeah, so usually before the training, the school would hold a mobilization meeting. So like back then in our university also before this basic training, we would also ask a mobilization meeting. Okay, mobilization meeting is called a kickoff meeting or a mobilization meeting to boost people's morale. Okay, so this is usually for boost boost people's morale. So somehow they also pick up a student representative to talk in front of the big crowd, and somehow just to mobilize everyone to just boost everyone's morale to start the official training afterwards. Okay, so I was picked to be the student representative. So I was given the opportunity to do that, but somehow during that summer I was so sick. I got sick. Unfortunately, I got sick. So that's why I missed this opportunity, but I would be dying for this opportunity. I would definitely be dying for this opportunity to speak, to be selected as student representative, to talk in front of so many people. And nowadays, we all know that those are golden opportunities. If you were selected to be able to talk as a student representative, and with the help of social media, that immediately you got the fame, right? But it's never only about the fame. It's like when you are coming able to come into people's sight, you got more opportunities, right? So for this girl, when she was able to speak in front of the so many people at the Harvard graduation ceremony, lots of people start to know her, right? And once people start to know her, then people would want to know more about her, and then she would definitely be given more opportunities compared to others. That's what naturally happens, right? So like if that can happen to her, then can happen to so many other people. Like if you ask me, I would definitely, I'm 100% sure there's so many people, so many students out there that graduating this year from Harvard would be dying for this opportunity to speak at the graduation ceremony in front of so many people out there, right? So this is not an easy opportunity, not an opportunity that can be easily gained. And also, Harvard University is no stupid university, right? They would definitely not want their graduation ceremony to have a student representative to talk there and somehow not able to make a proper speech, not able to speak an entire thing from the beginning till the end. They definitely would not pick someone who would just stand on the stage and be just so nervous and do not know what to talk about and somehow just go downstairs. And that would be considered to be a big, big shame of the universities, right? So they definitely, when they pick which one to be the student representative, it is never about only, oh, as long as you have money represent the case, okay? That is not an easy opportunity. Even her haters just made her world famous. Exactly. Her haters also would make her famous. We call it 黑红也是红. Yeah, there is a saying here in China that even you're hated by other people, that still makes you popular, right? Like hated popularity is also popularity, something like that, right? 黑红也是红. So that's why, like, when we say that, you know, I seriously don't understand, like, why out there there's so many people that just hate her so much, and by just saying so many things, that is definitely considered like, yeah. You don't have what? 追忆. Yeah. Definitely considered not to be yeah. I feel like nowadays lots of people are just basically like very jealous, and out of jealousy they would start to attack people. But I mean, like, there's nothing you can do about other people being excellent. If you just want to, if you're jealous about others, like the only thing you could do is just to make yourself like more excellent person, right? So those people who are excellent is because when they see excellent people, they see there is something out of them that they need to learn from, and they just keep on improving themselves so that they can become more excellent. They become one day from someone they just look up to someone they can be looked up to, right? So that is basically what's going on, right? So okay, yeah. Yeah, I have my sincere wish that this girl in the future, that I sincerely hope that she will not be affected by this. 呀，我真的衷心希望这个女孩，我觉得她做的非常棒。I think she did an amazing job. I seriously, sincerely hope that this girl would not be affected by this thing, would not be affected by all those haters on the social media, and like just keep on doing whatever she considered to be the right thing. Right? This might be this might even be her very first public speaking. Right? What's wrong about, like, I remember back then when I was working in my very first job in one of the, like I said, in one of the biggest bank. And I remember I was able to meet a very famous entrepreneur, a female entrepreneur. And she basically said one thing. She said, like, for young people, okay, for young people, the only thing, like, lots of young people, one of the mistake lots of the young people would make is afraid of making mistake. 刚看到小红书上多数对他的评论震惊了，是吧？ Isabella，你也震惊了是吧？所以为什么我觉得，虽然我不认识他，我真的看到很多这些评论以后，我真的非常的气愤，我要在这边真的替他发声。就是我也是，我跟你一模一样，I was like so shocked to see so many comments out there. Okay, one of the mistake, and it's never about making mistake. It's always about whether you're able to learn from the mistakes. There's also a saying I remember by whom, by Ray Dalio or by whom, also by a very famous, a very intelligent, definitely considered to be the most smartest person in the world. Also says something that is like if you look back for the past year, if you do not consider the yourself 1 year ago to be stupid, then basically means that you're not improving at all. 你们在说谁啊？在说那个哈佛的那个演讲的女孩 Lina。就是这两天那个哈佛的这个女孩，就是在那个在哈佛典礼上做演讲，这个女孩网上不是很多讨论吗？在说她呀，你去搜一下，你看一下她的演讲，然后你再去看一下评论，真的，我觉得太可怕了，太可怕了。我觉得真的，我觉得她真的没有什么问题，真的没有什么问题，但是网上一片骂声，全部都在骂她。真的骂他说他英文讲的不好的，说他内容讲的假大空的。我真的，我作为一个英文讲的算是不错的人，我真的觉得他的英文讲的没有任何问题，讲的很好。第二点就是说他讲话内容假大空的，我觉得这些人也真的是，你自己有做过演讲吗？你有学过演讲吗？就是在演讲的时候，他的这个演讲稿的内容，你如果去看一下其他的名人的演讲稿内容，基本上他的我没有觉得他这个演讲稿有怎么样，有什么大的问题，因为他基本上就是 play it safe，打的是安全牌，它的整体的结构和一些很这个就是一些名人的演讲稿本质上没有任何的差别。基本上的结构就是一开始先讲一个关于自己的小故事，然后接下来开始提出这个世界存在的问题，最后就是 call for action，呼吁大家去做一些事情。基本上大部分的名人演讲稿都是这么去讲的。他唯一的问题，最大的问题就是讲的太慢了。但是问题是，我觉得这也是情有可原的，毕竟人家也是第一次在哈佛典礼上做演讲，有可能甚至他人生第一次在公共场合做演讲，对吧？这个是很情有可原的，而且一个20岁出头的一个学生，在那边讲话演讲，在这么多这种有知名的人士面前演讲，几万人前演讲，能不紧张吗？一紧张放慢速度讲话有什么问题吗？没有什么问题。而且事实上，这个女孩能够被选作为学生代表在哈佛大学面前做演讲，这件事情本身已经说明这个女孩很优秀了。所以我真的是不能够理解网上为什么有这么多的人去骂她，我不能理解呀。老虎不用在意猪的评价，琳娜太可爱了呀。So I was also like going back to this kind of topic. There's also like a saying, like I don't remember by whom, but somehow by also a very great man who said, I think it's Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is one of the most famous hedge fund managers, also considered to be one of the most intelligent, the smartest person in the world. So he said something not so sure it's him, but I remember it's him. Basically, says something that is like if you look back this 1 year, if you look at yourself 1 year ago, if you do not see a very stupid you, that basically means you're not making improvements at all, right? So I mean, like everyone can make mistakes, and also like I mean, like I said, like I feel like the only thing she did not very well is that she was speaking too slowly, right? But that is also fine, right? So I sincerely hope that this like social media thing did not impact her at all. I think like she could still continue to do more public speaking in the future, right? If she really is so passionate about improving human welfare, just like she said in the like just like she said in the speech, right? She just could keep on doing it. And now since she got lots of popularity from this speech, right? She could also start a social media account and she could just continue to do more public speaking, right? Like that. And every time she improves, and people will see that. And I mean, like, also at the end of the day, you're just living for yourself. You're not living for anyone else, right? So one of the things, like my my like the kind of living attitude that I have very different from my husband is that, and also from my parents, is that I really focus a lot on my own personal feelings. Okay, I feel like what matters most is about myself. Some people would call it selfish, right? But I feel like selfish is different from like focusing on self feeling. Selfish basically means that you're doing lots of things, ignoring other people's feeling, or sometimes even hurting other people's feeling, But like self focus is more about like, okay, I know how other people feel, that I can feel other people's feeling, but somehow I just know that if I'm not, if as long as I'm not hurting other people's feeling, that I feel like I need to pay lots of attention to my own personal feeling, right? If there is something that makes me happy, I will just do it. Well, I would not, just make other people happy just like in order to please others. Like I will just make me myself feel bad, right? So that's why, like, sometimes do not hear about, just close the ears, do not listen to the outside world is also very important. I remember back then, also, like, just so you guys know, like, I also, like, if you work in those large conglomerates, there are lots of office politics, right? Many of you guys might experience that as well, like back then too. So I experienced lots of office politics as well. Like there are people, basically because I'm performing very well every year, there were people just talking behind me, also out of jealousy, just talking ill of me, like really attacking me just simply because they're so jealous of me, right? And at the very beginning, I was annoyed by that. I was like, I don't understand. Like, why are you guys like attacking me? Like, I did not do anything wrong to you. Why are you just doing that, right? So later on, I just read a book, and inside that book, there was a story that was like a little monk, okay, a little monk that was, just complaining to an old monk that the little monk said, all the other monks were always like talking ill of me, talking something bad about me. I really hate it. And the old monk, was basically saying that, okay, so who's talking about it? And the little monk said, oh, this guy, that guy, that guy. And the old monk said, which mouth is that? And the little monk said, oh, this is someone's mouth, that one's mouth, that one's mouth. And the old monk said, if the mouth is on their body, why do you bother? It's their mouth, it's not your mouth. If it's their mouth who says that, then it has nothing to do with you, right? 是别人的嘴在说话，那他们的嘴本质上跟你没有任何的关系，你为什么要在意那一些呢？ After seeing the story, after hearing the story, after reading the story, like immediately pay no attention to other people. Like if other people, so like even someone like who says something really bad about me, like I just started to not pay attention at all, because I feel like at the end of the day, what's so important is about myself, is never about others. Yeah. I think I read that book too. Really? This is like a very Buddhism type of book. It's actually in here as well. This book. This book. Okay. I pretty rarely buy paper book because I really like reading book on Kindle. I am a Kindle person, not a paper book person. I know lots of people just like reading paper books. They just feel they prefer the texture of this paper book. And somehow I do not like paper books, but somehow because I couldn't find this book on Kindle, so that's why like I just purchased it. 淡泊，我也喜欢这本书. This is actually there's a story behind this book. Okay, there's a story behind this book. So somehow for this book, I remember what happened is that so I have a friend who's a Buddhism believer. Okay, he believes in Buddhism. So the other day we had this lunch, and so he started to talk about Buddhism to me. And later after this lunch, so he brought me to a bookstore, and he brought me to a like Buddhism book section. So he said that according to the Buddhism theory, it's all about 缘分. It's all about 缘分. How to say 缘分? It's all about 缘分. Self-care is mistaken for selfishness for those who resent their own lack of it. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it's all oh, okay. So Buddhism is all about fate, about destiny, serendipity. Okay, these are all called 缘分. Okay, so he said that I want to give you a book for free. Okay, I want to give you a book as a gift, but I want you to pick and select this book yourself, because in Buddhism it's all about fate, it's all about destiny. So I do not want to decide which book for you. I want to see which book is your destiny, which book is linked to you. So I brought you to this bookstore, and come to this bookstore corner that has like plenty of Buddhism books, and I want you to pick one for yourself. You pick this book, that means this book is your book. Okay, so somehow, like, out of all the many books, I picked this book, and somehow that also works. Okay, I read this book. So this book is full of like little stories about like life attitude, using those kind of Buddhism philosophy, and somehow it was pretty interesting to read. And there are lots of like very interesting story, like round of stories I just shared with you guys about little monk and old monk. Like never care about what other people say about you, just focus on yourself. So that is also considered to be a very good story. Okay, so that's why I really like this book. Yeah. 这是妮妮吗？这这是只是长得像妮妮哈，还不是妮妮。OK，yeah。Okay, guys, follow me if you haven't done so. Okay, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. For those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. Okay, don't forget to follow me. And also, for those of you who haven't joined our followers group in here, our chat group in here, don't forget to join. This is our family. Okay, how many of you guys haven't followed me? We have over 100 people online right now, and if anyone of you haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me. Definitely need more followers. Okay. Definitely need more followers. Okay. So every day we're having live stream from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. China time. And we would be sharing and discussing about different topics. If there are anything you guys find interesting and you want to talk about, you could also tell me in the comment area. Yeah. I also believe that the boundary offend people who benefit from you not having them. Yeah, exactly. You're so right about Louis the Cat. Yeah. So I am definitely not the type of person that if I do something to please others on the condition that I will have to sacrifice my own feeling, just make myself unhappy, I would definitely not do that. I'm definitely not the type of person. Yeah, I am definitely not the type of person that would just please others on the condition that I will have to sacrifice my own self feeling. 我绝对不是这样的人。Yeah, I think like it's very important that I have a good feeling as well, right? I'm okay to have a no feeling at all, but at least like I do not accept that. Okay, I have to hurt myself in order to make other people feel happy. That I would never do that because I think like I am very important. I am so important. If I do not know how to love myself, if I do not use my life attitude to show others that my feeling is important, that my happiness is important, then people will not respect me. People would not value me. People would not, just feel like, okay, my happiness is important, that, something like that. Somehow like that. 那个夏天的风，你要是不喜欢的话，你可以刷走，OK，可以刷走没有问题，好吗？可以刷走没有问题，但是不要在这边无端无故的直接说烦死我，因为这本质上并不是我的错。你会天天刷到我，这也是一种缘分啊，因为其实有很多人就像追忆说的，也有很多人是天天在那边等待、期盼能够刷到我的，这本质上都是一种缘分。所以如果你并不喜欢这个直播间的话，那也并不是我把我的直播间推给你的，是这个算法可能觉得你这段时间在学英文或者怎么样，把我推给你了。我觉得这多少也是一种缘分，所以没有必要去说一些烦死啦等等这样攻击的话，right? So there's someone said that, oh, every day I saw you, you're so annoying. I was basically saying that, there's nothing wrong I did to make you see me every day, right? It was not me to push this live stream to you, right? And also, like, it was definitely not my fault to have live stream every day because there are plenty people out there. Yeah, there are plenty people out there who are waiting for this live stream every day. There are plenty of people out there who are very interested in this live stream, right? I can't just because you as a single person who do not like this live stream, I just stopped doing it. I could definitely not say that this is not a good live stream. Yeah, 缘分让我们遇见，缘分 destiny. There's a saying in Chinese that 怎么说的？10年修得什么擦肩过，100年修得什么同船渡，什么1000年修得共枕眠，还是什么之类的，忘了哈，随便乱说的哈。呀，说明他偷偷在你停留，算法才会推过他。美江，你真的太可爱了，美江。美江以后多多留言互动啊！我好像也是第一次看你留言，你真的太可爱了。呀，怀疑这个老师是个英文老师。Yeah, so like there's a saying in Chinese that somehow like okay, so we have to be somehow like we have to be able to we have to have like 10 years of somehow we have to know each other for more than 10 years in order to have like this meet up in this life, okay? 我们前世要有10年的缘分才能今世这么相见, right? And there's also saying that we have to have 100 years of knowing each other to have in this life to be on the same boat, right? We have to have over 1,000 years of life together, know each other for 1,000 years in our previous lives to become a couple in this life, something like that, okay? Something like that. So it's definitely a destiny, okay? This is a destiny that we're able to meet each other. So definitely, no matter who comes to the live stream, I sincerely feel thankful and sincerely feel happy. So that's why, like, I rarely, very rarely would kick people out of this live stream. Okay, I would very rarely just keep people out of the live stream. So somehow, yeah, because I feel like everyone comes in here that is considered to be part of destiny. Yeah. So again, thank you so much, my friends, for coming to this live stream, and so happy to see every one of you in here. Forgive you. Why do I need to forgive you? Yeah, peace, love, and respect, everyone. Okay, it's 9:30 a.m. China Day. 你在英国读书怎么美式口音？对我从小到大是学英式口音，我以前英式口音讲得非常好，但是后来就是因为工作还有看很多美剧，看着看着就是学了这个美式口音，而且因为美式口音说实话比英式口音发音更容易，所以就讲美式口音了。有缘千里来相会。好的。And for those of you who haven't followed me, don't forget to follow me, okay? Another 2 hour passed by so quickly, and every day I will have my live stream from 7:30 to 9:30, okay? Unless there are technical issues, I would then spend some time to start. Usually it's 7:40, okay, my friends, because I'm not punctual. But from time to time, I will be very punctual to start the live stream from 7:30 to 9:30.